Maybe in the rural zones the night was deathly quiet, but over here in LA, it's never silent. It was around 1 a.m., maybe 2, yet the streets were alive with the hum of motor vehicles, and I was out searching for my new case. You see, I had come across the big one. In fact, somebody had left a note under my door just the day before saying, "Come here, guy, and I'll show you the 1-2." Now, I didn't know who this 1-2 fellow is, but I knew I could not mess with him again. At least, not with him alive, or out in the streets. So, I did the logical thing, and I took on this case. Now, it's ruling my life. I need to solve this case like a bee needs its butt in a beehive where bees belong. Now, cases are a bit different than beehives, but my point still stands. In this city, you can't do two things wrong, 'cause it makes a right. There was always a thing about this town. Not everyone knew it, but my partner and I, we understood. You can see it in the eyes of the people, the homeless and the rich. A glimmer. Hope, is it? Or is it something more devious? Anyway, these thoughts distracted me as I went down Hollywood. Suddenly, I spotted a dame. As I missed the dame with my car, I realized that perhaps I had gone too far this time, that I was in too deep, but something smaller, yet more powerful, told me, not deep enough. This city's like a red ball. You keep bouncing it, and soon enough it'll bounce back and hit you in the nose, and you'll come crying to Mama, and she'll patch you up. But then, a couple days later, you lose the ball, and you never see it again. LA's no different. There are criminals here, not so nice people, working with the dastardly dillos with the city, which they hold so dear, yet not dear enough. As I held the pedal to the metal, driving down these city streets, my partner looked at me and asked me if I was crazy. There was only one thing I could respond with: the sweet sound of silence. Yeah, I had become all too familiar with that sound. I hadn't spoken about 30 days, give or take a few more. Well, working in Vice will do that sort of thing, but some say perhaps not enough. These Vice kids, some of them don't shut up, and it's up to you to shut them up. Now, I'm not the smartest boy in LA, but I do have knowledge where it counts, and these kids, they're on the wrong path. It was interesting enough to see people going about their daily lives in Hollywoodland, as they used to call it. Now they call it Hollywood, but I still call it Hollywoodland. Heh, just a cool fact about me. I'm kinda unique. Anyway, the streets were like a red-hot chuparacha, a Tijuana Bible ready to be turned open and to make a cum tribute to that one girl from Archie you didn't know the name of. Was Archie around that time? I'm not so sure, but one thing is for certain. The girls in that comment turn me on. Comment? I mean comic. Although, my point still stands. I personally am Betty all the way. Any other opinion I disregard. But my partner did not reciprocate those feelings. He considered me manic on the topic. I considered him a pushover. As I drove down the streets with this eunuch, I knew that my big case was about to be solved. One way or another, we were all going to the same place. But what that place was up to us. I turned right down this street that was called Boulevard Street. I slowed down. I don't want to do this mission. I did a mission I didn't want to do in my piece of shit truck. My truck had provided many a year of what it had done was more than enough to I had picked up this beautiful new roadster the day before. A beaut, I called her. Beautiful, even. You know, it was more beautiful than my wife's pretty little tits, and she's 12. We went down the streets, slow at fast, but then faster. That's typically how cars accelerate. But in the end, one of us would have to stop. And it sure as hell wasn't gonna be me. As I drove along, I realized that maybe driving wasn't all it's cracked up to be. Then realized that I'm a crazy fella, and I'm not all that's cracked up to be. As I was thinking a million miles per hour, it seemed the man ahead of me was going faster, and there'd be only one way to stop him. Shooting his tire, or his trunk, because my partner... Okay. We had caught the criminal. It was all up to us to stop this criminal once and for all. And, that was the 1-2. That was him. We got him. The end. The end. The end.